Good morning, everyone. I'll call the May 9th, 2023 meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call for any public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning. Is there anyone that has any public comment on any of the agenda items? Okay, hearing none. Move on to approval of the minutes from our April 27th regular meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Approval of the bills. We have a batch of bills that need approved.
Make a motion to approve the bills?
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Bids and quotes. First up is the electricity supplier contract renewal. Mark?
Yes, our contract for electricity with the current supplier is expiring shortly. I believe it's next month. And so, as in the past, we've gone out to, using a broker, we've gone out to the market to look for electric rates. The broker has come back with a recommendation for an 18-month contract at 7.002 cents per kilowatt hour. I forget who the supplier is, but that's up from our current price of 5.056 cents per kilowatt hour. As everybody knows, energy prices are up, and this was the best rate. It's a fairly short term, so we're not locked in for a real long time. Hopefully, the market will stabilize more, and the price 18 months from now will be more favorable. So my recommendation is to place our electric supply for the 18-month contract at 7.002 cents per kilowatt hour.
Okay, is this with Constellation, Mark? I have.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, with Constellation. And you said it's an 18-month
Yes.
contract? Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board?
None here. I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, next up we have streetlight assessment bill mailing services. Mark, you want to
Yes,
handle that one as well?
It's that time of year. The bills will be calculated and sent here shortly. And this is the request for the cost of mailing the bills. And it is, oops, what's my thing here? I think, maybe. Oh. Okay, with Tri-County, the cost is $4,706.50, and that would be the recommendation to use them to mail the streetlight assessments.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions or comments on this? This is something we routinely do annually, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
And there really isn't anybody besides Tri-County to do this sorting and mailing.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve this through Tri-County letter parcel pre-sort service?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Next, we have our 2023 Millcreek Township Milling and Paving Project bid announcement. Rob?
Thank you. Good morning. On April 27th, 2023, a bid opening was held at the Township Building for the 2023 Township Paving Contract. 2 bids were received, and prices are as follows. Lindy Paving, $5,176,023.10, and Joseph McCormick Construction with a price of $5,700,000 $26.80. This contract includes just under 300,000 square yards of milling and paving, 18 each ADA accessible ramps. Funds for this project will be taken from the Township Liquid Fuels Fund and the General Fund. It is my recommendation to award this contract to Lindy Paving for the price of $5,176,023.10.
Thank you, Rob. Any questions or comments? I have a couple after you folks.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to commend Sean Kern and Rob Donikowski, as well as our streets foreman, for going out and assessing the condition of these roads and doing an impartial assessment of the roads that are needed here. We get a lot of calls for paving, and we can't honor all the requests, unfortunately, every year, but this was, I think it's a great package. Is it online yet, Sam? Do you know?
I will update the website and go when I have it.
Very good. Okay, that makes sense. After we hopefully approve this with Lindy Paving, we can get the map up and the streets up. I'm sure we'll be getting some calls after we do that, but nonetheless, it's over 20 miles of road, and I think it's a really great package we put together. So I just want to commend our Public Works team for doing that, and we'll go from there. Any other comments or questions?
I'm going to second your comments,
Oh,
for
thank
sure.
you. Thank you.
To the team, and all the work that's been done, and to you too. I know you've taken many drives to look at the roads and look at the list, so. Can I just make one note, maybe?
Sure.
20 miles of roads is, what, more than twice as much than what we did in 2016 and before, correct? Or 2018 and before, maybe.
Right.
Sure.
I mean, only in the last 4 years have we been able to get above 8 miles of road a year. So, I mean, literally, 4 or 5 years. So this is pretty remarkable that we're at 20 miles. We have a lot of work to do. We know that there was not as much investment into the roads as what could have been done, and we are trying to rectify that. And I think that 20 miles is a real, and I know it's not going to make everyone happy. We know that. We're working on a long-term plan to make sure that we get all the roads
Right.
squared away, though, by really taking a real effort, making a real effort at looking every year at these roads.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and we're already looking toward 2024.
yeah.
We do have a, preliminary list that people have expressed concerns with their roads, so we're looking ahead to next year and the year after that for, a long-term plan. Is there a motion to approve this contract with Lindy Paving for $5,176,000, $23.10?
So moved.
Second,
Mrs. Clear?
yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next up, we have SWAT equipment, Millcreek Police Department. Captain Hopper?
Thank you. Good morning. The Millcreek Township Police Department SWAT team is in need of one additional communications headset and gas mask adapter in order to outfit every team member, including the SWAT medic. Uniform Outfitters provided a quote for the headset at $1,382.99, and the cost of the gas mask adapter is $99.99. The company indicated that the price of each is going up on May 27th, and I recommend the purchase to be approved at this time.
Thank you, Captain. Is there a motion to approve this headset and gas mask adapter?
So moved,
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes.
Captain Hopper, I have a quick question. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go
May I
ahead.
ask a question?
Yep, go ahead.
Captain Hopper, the other ones were donated, or that we had money donated for the other headsets, is that correct?
That is correct,
Yes,
yes.
so there were 3 different companies that donated, just so that the public is aware. They had done this last year. They donated to the Millcreek Police Department, and that's how we were able to get every one of our SWAT members the headsets, so that they don't have to turn their head. They can actually just look ahead and talk. So it's pretty important that we have that, and so I thank you to the public for the donations. we'll be continuing to look for donations.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, next up, we have the PCCD Grant Award and Purchase. Captain Hauber?
Correct. The Millcreek Township Police Department received a sub-grant award in the amount of $152,161 for a project period of 1/23 through 12/31 of '24, and the project is titled Millcreek Township Police Department Law Enforcement Support. I highly recommend the acceptance of this award, which will be used to fund new Motorola body-worn cameras, new Motorola mobile video recording cameras, and other associated hardware and software support. The Motorola equipment purchases are 100% reimbursable under this grant, and this grant will be via sole source procurement. There are no other known conflicts of interest as a result of this procurement. See attached for further details regarding the equipment purchase request. And there's an attachment that outlines the exact pieces of equipment that and services we will be purchasing through Motorola Solutions, Inc.
Okay, thank you, Captain. Any questions or comments on this sub-grant? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, strategic planning proposal for professional services, Parks and Recreation Department. Ashley?
Thank you. The Parks and Recreation Department is seeking approval to engage in a professional service contract with Altair Real Estate Services for Parks and Recreation strategic planning and a needs assessment. The Parks and Recreation Department is looking to advance the recommendation from the Embrace Millcreek Comprehensive Plan to work towards a Park and Recreation Master Plan. The first step towards this goal would be developing a strategic plan for the department. Millcreek's Park and Recreation Department oversees 28 parks and green spaces throughout the township, as well as manages a large variety of programming and activities throughout the year. The Parks and Recreation Department and Planning and Development Department is looking for support in assessing amenities and services and identifying opportunities to strengthen parks and recreation opportunities as an asset to the residents of the township. Through this strategic planning process and engagement with Altair, support would be given to facilitate public engagement and site-specific redevelopment opportunities for the purposes of parks and recreation activities. Funding for this engagement would be sourced through the Parks and Recreation Capital Budget Community Center line item. It's the recommendation of the Parks and Recreation Department to engage in a professional service contract with Altair Real Estate Services in the amount of $42,000 for a Parks and Recreation strategic plan.
Thank you. Ashley? Okay, any questions or comments on this recommendation for professional services with Altair Real Estate?
I'll just make a quick note, if that's okay, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I'm excited to involve the public in this process. This will be good to see. And I already know we've heard from a lot of residents about what they'd like to see in our Mill Creek Made surveys. So this will be exciting. Yes.
Okay.
I agree, and, this process is long overdue.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I hear
And
a
I'll
motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, number 7 on our agenda, new or amended ordinance is under review. First one is our fireworks ordinance amendment. Mr. Shaw?
Yes, as indicated in prior meetings, we've been working on a fireworks ordinance to adopt some additional restrictions that the state has recently passed regarding when fireworks can be set off, and we're also working on a kind of a permitting process to work into that for that is part of that overall ordinance. So that we're working on that, and hopefully we'll have that ready shortly before summer hits in full force. And then in addition, we're also working on the subdivision and land development ordinance that kind of goes hand in hand with the zoning ordinance that was passed last year. And we've been going through that and trying to ensure that it's cohesive and fits together with the ultimate goals of the township. So those are the two that we're currently working on.
Okay, thank you. Next, number 8, PennDOT Highway Transfer Program, West 8th Street. Matt?
Yes, thank you. Good morning. In front of you today are PennDOT forms related to the transfer of West 8th Street between Pittsburgh Avenue and Peninsula Drive to Millcreek Township ownership and control. The forms include a scope of work detailing engineering services and construction activities to improve this portion of roadway in excess of $5.4 million, for which PennDOT will reimburse the township. Also included is a resolution for the board to adopt, signifying the township's acceptance of the transfer. As part of implementation of both Embrace Mill Creek and the Presque Isle Gateway District Plan, significant improvements to the streetscape and pedestrian amenities are planned for this portion of roadway. The township has obtained $3.5 million in RACP funding to undertake these improvements, many of which would become more costly to implement or be at odds with PennDOT priorities if West 8th Street remained under Department of Transportation control. This transfer agreement would allow the streetscape improvements to proceed, as well as provide major improvements to the roadway utilizing PennDOT funds. Those improvements include a new storm sewer system, new curbing, accessible pedestrian ramps, and a new roadway surface. I recommend that the board approve the proposed scope of work and adopt the resolution accepting the transfer of this portion of West 8th Street.
Thank you, Matt. Do you want to go right into the resolution now?
I'm sorry, I didn't know that was to me. So I guess there are two things that would need to be approved. The one is the first document, the highway transfer project, including the scope of work totaling $5,408,112. So that would need to be approved and a signature placed on that, and then the resolution would be the second.
Okay. All right, is there any questions or comments on the transfer program of West 8th, or do we have a motion on this?
I think we still have some questions. So I actually might make a motion, or I'm not, I might. I am going to make a motion to table this to the next meeting so that we can sit down and to chat about some questions we have.
Okay. Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, Dan. Okay, so the motion is to table the highway transfer project. Is it an agreement?
Can I make a motion to table Resolution 2023 R18 and Resolution 2023 R19? Wait, no, I lied.
I think there's just one.
There's just the one, the 2023 R18.
Okay. Well, let's do the first one. Let's do the first, the highway transfer agreement. There was a motion to table that, and we did have a second. I'll call for a vote on that. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, next is the resolution 2023 R19, or no, R18. Is there a motion on that?
I would make a motion to table Resolution 2023 R18.
And I'll second.
Okay, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, next is resolution 2023 R19.
Okay, I apologize. I
On
was
the-
thinking, yeah.
On the streetlight assessment. Mark?
Yes, to go hand in hand with the mailing of the bills, we have to calculate the bills. The calculation, you can't really give a percentage because, there's so many aspects that go into this. So there's different wattage of light, be it sodium vapor or LED, but they all have their attendant cost, and that gets divided amongst as part of the cost. And then if you have a higher wattage lamp, it takes more electricity to run it, so that all gets boiled into the individual bills. But given the fact that our electricity went up, I would suspect that there'll be an increase in the total cost, given the fact that we're still supplying the electricity. But I can't give you a specific dollar figure for any one individual property. But I would recommend implementing the resolution so that the billing can take place.
I have a question, Mark. So the rate that the street lights are billed at for the electricity, is that a different rate than we just discussed earlier with Constellation? Is this set by Penelec?
Yes.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with Constellation?
No, and actually, because there's no meters on the individual lights, they bill the same amount all year long at a very, very low rate of cost. I don't even know how they derive their price, but I know it ends up being like a penny per kilowatt hour versus the 7 cents we're paying.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mark. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2023 R19?
So moved.
Second,
Mrs. Clear?
yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Next up, Resolution 2023 R20, a resolution of the Township of Millcreek, Erie County, Pennsylvania, establishing an intermunicipal agreement with the Millcreek Township School District to assist with the enforcement of violations of 75 PA CSA, PA Vehicle Code 3345.1 through the use of an automated stop signal arm enforcement system. Mr. Shaw?
Yes, the Millcreek Township Police Department has been recently approached by the Millcreek Township School District asking for it to enter into an intermunicipal agreement under which the police department would assist the district in the enforcement of violations of 75 PA CSA Section 3345, which prohibits the driver of a vehicle from meeting or overtaking any school bus stopped on a highway or traffic way flashing its red light signals. Specifically, 75 PA CSA Section 3345.1 authorizes a school district to equip their buses with an automated stop signal arm enforcement system which captures images of vehicles that violate Section 3345. The enforcement system is equipped to take multiple camera angles of the violating vehicle, and through the combined use of AI technology and personal observations of the video by vendor representatives and the police departments, the vehicle's license plate can be identified, and under the Act, the owner of the vehicle identified is deemed to be responsible for the violation unless he or she would have proof that they were not driving. The Act then authorizes action to be taken against the owner of the vehicle. Anyone who is caught violating 3345 as a result of this enforcement system is subject to a civil fine of $300. So it's a little bit different than if someone is actually caught, running through a bus, that has its red lights on. And so Section 3345.1 authorizes the district to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with a law enforcement agency to assist in the enforcement. And before you is Resolution 2023 R20, which authorizes the police department to enter into this agreement, along with a copy of the agreement that is to be executed.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Any questions or comments from the board on this resolution?
None here.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Mrs. Clear?
yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 12, amendment to a land development plan. Square on 26th Street LLC. Square on 26th Street LLC is the developer. Matt?
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Unfortunately, we did not receive the proper documents from the township engineer in order to process this, so I would recommend that this action be tabled until the next meeting.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Is there a motion to table this amendment to land development plan on Square on 26th Street?
Yes, I'll make a motion to table.
I'll second.
This is clear.
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, number 13 on our agenda says Erie Golf Course. Well, it's pretty open. What can you tell us about it?
Allow me to explain. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. I would like to raise an issue with the board with respect to the Erie Golf Course. As you know, the township is not equipped to run an 18-hole golf course and clubhouse, both from a manpower standpoint and equipment standpoint, as well as a cost standpoint. Due to this, the township has historically relied on third parties to operate the course since it was acquired. We currently have a third-party operator managing the course under an agreement that expires in 2025. As you may recall, we had some significant challenges finding someone who would be willing to operate the course when we last sought an operator. There were plenty of people who expressed an interest in acquiring the golf course, but very few who were interested in managing it or investing in the course without owning it. In fact, we only had one person express interest in running it. We ultimately entered into agreement with an entity created by that person specifically to run the golf course, but it is, in effect, one person running the operation, which creates its own risk if something were to happen to that one person. Over time, the Erie Golf Course has consumed an inordinate amount of our internal time and has consistently cost the township funds without being a very useful location for township parks and recreation programming. Because I'm afraid that we may continue to have such challenges with the Erie Golf Course using a third-party operator, and given that the township itself is not equipped to operate the golf course, I inquired of our solicitor regarding what our other options may exist for the golf course. One possible option the township could explore would be trying to sell the golf course. As I indicated earlier, there was some interest in people who were looking to acquire it in the past. Now, there are some restrictions with the golf course property, as 3 of the 4 parcels are deed restricted. However, there is a process to petition the court to seek permission to sell the golf course while ensuring that the property continue to be used in a manner consistent with the deed restrictions. I would request that the board consider the option of filing such a petition to seek permission to sell the Erie Golf Course with the existing deed restrictions in place.
Thank you, Ashley. Mark?
So I'd spoken to Ashley about this and different options that, the township would have. Obviously, one is continuing to operate it in that fashion, but as Ashley pointed out, there have been some challenges in getting an operator, and the fear is when we hit 2025, if we don't get an operator, what do you do? You're kind of stuck, and as we learned with the Millcreek Golf and Learning Center, if you stop maintaining the course, frankly, for almost any period of time, you almost have to start over because of the way the grasses need to be maintained and things like that. So the idea of possibly selling it, there is a legal process for the township to follow to attempt to sell the course to a third party. As you may recall, the city of Erie had filed an action at one point in time attempting to lift the deed restrictions on the property when it owned the golf course. The court concluded that the deed restrictions could not be lifted based on the evidence that the city submitted. If Millcreek were to pursue this option, its effort would be significantly different than the attempt by the city, in that the township would not seek to lift the deed restrictions, but simply seek to sell the golf course, the Erie Golf Course, as a golf course with the deed restrictions remaining in place. Under state law, specifically the Donated or Dedicated Property Act, allows the municipality to seek orphans court approval, and I'll quote this: when in the opinion of the political subdivision, which is the trustee, continuation of the original use of the particular property held in trust as a public facility is no longer practicable or possible and has ceased to serve the public interest. If the municipality meets its burden of establishing that the continued use of Erie Golf Course as a public facility is no longer practicable or possible and has ceased to be in the public interest, then the municipality may sell the property and apply the proceeds to a different public purpose. If you wish, we could present an analysis at the next meeting to evaluate whether we believe there is evidence to support such a petition, prepare a draft petition, and if the board would agree, we then seek authorization to file such a petition at that next meeting. This would not mean that the township would be in fact selling it, but at least it would give the township the option of pursuing that when the time comes.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. So we're taking action today, which would authorize the option of,
The action I would ask you to take today would be to authorize me to go ahead and, perform the analysis and prepare a petition for you to review at the next meeting, and then decide there if you want to authorize the filing of that petition.
okay, thank you, Mark. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay. Is there a motion on this, on the Erie Golf Course? The motion would be to allow McDonald Illig to conduct an analysis for feasibility regarding a petition, which I believe would go through the Orphans Court,
Yes.
to potentially look at a sale of the Erie Golf Course.
I'll make that motion.
And I will second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Number 14 on our agenda is a sidewalk deferral request for 2319 West 38th Street, Westminster Development LLC developer. Mr. Waldinger?
Thank you. Yes, Westminster Development LLC is developing a retail business establishment at 2319 West 38th Street, and they are requesting a deferral for sidewalks on the property. There are currently no sidewalks located in the neighborhood or the immediate vicinity. So it is the recommendation of the Zoning and Development Officer to approve the request as submitted. The Stormwater Management Plan does take the impervious area of the sidewalks into account if and when those sidewalks would be installed.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve this sidewalk deferral request?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 15 on our agenda is a stormwater management maintenance agreement and stormwater maintenance plan, GEX Pro, 4810 Pittsburgh Avenue, Westminster Development LLC developer. Matt?
Thank you. Yes, in front of you is the executed stormwater management maintenance agreement for the amended land development plan for Westminster Development LLC. The developer, they are the developer. This has been reviewed by Greenman Peterson Incorporated, our contracted third-party reviewing agency, for consistency with the township stormwater management ordinance. The document complies with the substantive requirements of the ordinance. So it is the recommendation of the Zoning and Development Officer to accept the plan and approve the agreement as submitted, since it meets substantive requirements of the stormwater management ordinance.
Thank you, Matt. Is there a motion to approve this stormwater management maintenance agreement and maintenance plan?
So move.
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Communications, Treasurer Communications, Mark?
Nothing further at this time.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next up, we have a training request from the Police Department.
Correct.
Captain
Thank you.
Hauber?
Thank you. I'm requesting permission to allow Corporal Mays to attend a 3-day training course with other members of the Erie Bomb Squad in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, from June 20th to June 22nd. The course is titled Explosive Breaching. This certification would allow Corporal Mays to assist the Erie Regional Bomb Squad, the Millcreek Township Police SWAT Team, and other area police departments when high-risk entry calls for an explosive breach to gain entry. I recommend this training to be approved by the board. The course has already been approved by the Northwest PA Emergency Response Group, and the tuition and dorm-style lodging, $2,000 in total, is being fully reimbursed to the township after the training has been concluded. The only remaining costs to be absorbed by the township are the per diem, 2 days at $48 and 3 days at $64, totaling $288. Fuel, $100 estimated, and tolls, $45 estimated. Travel would be by department vehicle. Total travel costs are $433.
Okay, thank you, Captain. Is there a motion to approve this training request?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
I vote yes. Next up, we have the Acato Yearbook Dinner, which is an annual event through Acato. This year, it's going to be held on Thursday, May 25th at the Colony Banquet and Catering Facility in Millcreek. And 3 people have expressed an interest to attend. Cost is $30 per person. Attending would be me, Mr. Ouellette, and Mr. Shaw. So the total cost would be $90. Is there any questions or comments on this ECATO? For those that don't know, it's the Erie County Association of Township Officials. We attend monthly meetings, and they're held at different township facilities, and they discuss various, aspects of the other townships. It's good to network with Summit, Fairview, Harbor Creek, Girard, all the neighboring townships that attend the meeting. So this is an end-of-the-year yearbook dinner where they put together a nice yearbook, which has all the township information in it, and then they usually do a dedication and honor somebody at that yearbook dinner. So I'll make a motion to approve this expenditure.
No, second.
Thank you, Dan. Call for a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Ouellette?
Yes.
I vote yes. Next up, we have PSAT's Communication Awards. Mr. Peterson, you can handle that?
Yes.
All right, sir.
Millcreek Township's efforts to keep its residents updated and informed about the community have earned the municipality 2 awards in the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors, PSAT's 55th Annual Citizen Communication Contest. The contest recognizes townships that have successfully communicated programs and activities to citizens. Millcreek received 3rd place in the Other Publications category and Cable TV categories. And just some more background on the awards in general. The contest attracted entries from across the Commonwealth in 8 categories, including printed and electronic newsletters, most improved newsletters, other publications, audiovisual, cable TV programs, social media, and websites. And all 33 townships submitted 111 entries for this year's competition, and 16 townships won awards. All contest entries were judged on the usefulness of information presented and how well the information was communicated to township residents. Publications were also judged on their overall attractiveness and readability. Judges included PSATs, staff, and township officials who volunteered through the Association Power of One program. I have the awards here, so I'll bring them up to you guys.
Thank you, Sam.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
I would just like to congratulate our communications, the Community Relations and Sustainability Department. The entire department has worked so hard this last year. I know we've kind of renamed it and reshaped it. We're really working on our communication with the community. So I have a feeling that we will be getting many more awards as time goes on. And Sam, you have done such a remarkable job for the township. Our website is updated. It's so much more user-friendly. I feel like our residents are able to get the information they need so much easier now. We have a presence, I think, in the community, with reaching out to people. They can reach us. So anyway, you're doing a great job out there. So I just want to say thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Sam.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, executive session was held on May 4th. Discussions centered around real estate of parks and rec facilities and utility easements. Litigation matters were discussed, right to know appeals, orphans court petition, and ordinance enforcement matters. Solicitor communications. Anything further, Mr. Shaw?
Nothing further on my end.
Okay, thank you. Citizens to be heard. Any citizens wish to come up to the podium and speak? Sir, you have a 20-second time limit today. Only for you.
all right.
Only for you.
I'm over, I'm done. Hey, I got a Gerald Svidio, 1720 West Gore Road, Erie, PA 16509. Pen's no good. Hey, cuts in the street. Do you guys have like a follow-up period after they cut it, and fill it in? Do they have to come back and recheck it? And why not? Because they settle. And I don't like to call. You can walk through this township and hit potholes after that. Streets, you call streets and they say they contact Erie Waterworks or whoever digs it up. But then nothing's done. That's one thing. I had that question. What's the answer? Are you my supervisor?
We all are, but...
No. You got certain areas of the township.
You
It's
talking
him.
about the streets?
Him.
He's on my side? He's on the east side of 79?
I'm always on your side. So
Oh, man.
when it comes to road cuts, yeah, it's up to typically it's a utility, whether it's
Sure.
water, gas, anything like that. So yeah, they're responsible for making sure that road cut is restored properly. It's about this time of year where they go back and do the finalization.
All right.
And I know things do settle, and that's why most of those patches are temporary until this time of year when they go back and actually have hot material to put in.
All right. Well, you can check Perkins, you can check West Road. How come it's just like the new building over there on Peach Street, the new building going up? You do the road, and within a month, they cut into the road, and there it sits. Settled back down. Okay, that's one. Number two, I talked to you about the creek behind my daughter's house. Penelec goes in there and cuts trees down and leaves them lay. Not Penelec, but a tree service. How come they aren't made to take the trees or the limbs out of there? And now you go down the creek on that little property, if you go straight down Perkins and look over the hill where I'm talking about it again, it's caving in. And you have a buildup in there just like we had back in the flood over at Val Valley. I think you said it was our responsibility, but when these companies cut these trees down, isn't it their responsibility to get them out of there so you don't have this? Just asking.
We would need in part to look at their easement document to see what their easement says. That may be something to hook onto as well. If they're leaving, typically I think that's what they typically do. They just cut and lay. But if they're leaving stuff that's ultimately getting into the stream, that certainly could be an issue.
Yeah, I mean, they're cutting up on 38th Street right now, and they got a shredder right behind it. So how, they get away with it because it's in a creek? I don't understand it. And then there's Ashley. We got to get over there is that Bridger? Yeah, that's it. I'm done. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks for your service. Thanks for calling me back. I must have missed your call. How's that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sir. I was going to ask Matt and the other guy, but...
Any other citizens that wish to be heard this morning? Going once, twice? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Second.
Okay, we are adjourned at 10:14 a.m. Thank you, everyone.